Boys and Girls Club members and families. Welcome to SMART Talks. It's a show where I get the opportunity to talk with various artists about their professional careers. My name's Georgia. I'm the Performing Arts Program Director at the Jordan Boys and Girls Club in Chelsea. And today I have a very special guest. I know I always say it's a very special guest, but this is a particularly special guest. With us today is Johanna. She is a yoga instructor and dancer, and she was my roommate in college, actually. But Joey, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing now?
Yes. Hi, everyone. So right now I currently live in San Francisco, California, the Bay Area. And I am a yoga instructor in studio settings, but also I am in corporate settings. So I teach a lot of people that work for big corporations as of Google and YouTube. And I also teach ballet to younger kids on the weekends, and take dance classes as well.
Amazing. I was waiting for you to name drop Google.
Oh, yeah.
She's for big corporations. She teaches for Google headquarters. That's
I
awesome.
do.
So I feel like I know the answer to this question, but our members are wondering, how long have you been practicing yoga and why did you start?
I started practicing yoga, my sophomore year of college, so not too long ago. I've only been really practicing for, like 4 years. So it's it's pretty new, like in the whole yoga world. But I feel like I've been probably doing yoga for a lot longer, but like serious practice has probably been about 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
How has your dance career fueled your yoga career? And can you explain if you feel like they're related?
Yes, definitely a lot. They relate a lot. Actually started practicing like seriously during college because I was at the Boston Conservatory with Georgia, and it was a very like intense, rigorous school and process. So I found that yoga was a very kind of like opposite way of like taking myself out of that rigorous process and finding like a mindfulness, kind of like a let go of what was going on during the day. And so I think that's why I felt like so deep into it, was because it was like very, it just like, it helped a lot in the sense of like removing myself from the situation of studying really intense dance all day long. And so I think that's why it's so important. And I think they relate in so many ways, a couple ways I'll name. The movement of them both. Dance is like a very fluid movement, and the type of yoga I teach and do is vinyasa flow. So it's breath to movement. So you don't stop usually during the classes. So I think that's why I like that type of yoga so much, is because of dance, because dance is very fluid. It keeps going. There's always this transition into the other movement. So yeah, I think that's a big part of why they're so related in my life.
Great. And so you practice vinyasa. Do you also teach vinyasa?
I do. I teach, I think just vinyasa.
And how do you want your students to feel after they've taken your class?
I like that question. I want them to feel, let me think. I feel like there's so much I can say. Okay, I want them to feel more confident in themselves and more confident in their body. Two important things. I want them to feel a sense of like how I was feeling when I first started practicing, like taken out of my everyday routine, and kind of like the mindfulness practice of it, like focusing on your breath and the movement, and that's it, can be so hard for people, and just in general it's hard. So I think I want students to feel that like sense of like that sensation of like letting go of whatever happened before class and what's to happen after class, just like being present. And so I hope that they leave my class feeling more present.
I love that.
Yeah. I actually say that in my class. I say every class, I go, whatever happened before, whatever's going to happen next, it will always come, but let's just be present right now.
I love that. I love that. And that must be like particularly hard. That leads into my next question.
Yeah.
It must be super hard for people who work at Google headquarters.
Yes.
Or present. Like, is it harder to teach in a corporate space to students who are new to yoga, or is it sort of the same? Like, how is that different?
It's definitely different. There's differences. So I teach at a studio only 2 times a week, and then I teach at Google and YouTube like 8 times a week. So I'm more heavy in the corporate side, but it's very different in the sense of when I'm at Google, I do the class with them because they are newer. So they need that site, like the person to see it and then do it. And then in studio setting, I talk the class. So not one is like, I mean, doing it is harder physically for me, but like mentally it's kind of the same. But I think it is a little harder to teach people that haven't done yoga just because it's like more of like a slower process. And yeah, in teaching corporate yoga, it's awesome to see them, especially because at the corporate offices, it's mostly the same students that come. So I get to develop like a relationship with them and talk to them and know them personally. So it's nice to see that they are developing that like presence and that mindfulness, because that is so like, that is just not in anything else they do during the day. I always say that they have only 2 positions. They like have this position and then they have this position, that's like the only 2 ways that they're even like sitting all day. And so it's super fun to like talk to them about like what this like flow makes them feel and how, and they always are so articulate and stuff. So
of course. I mean,
I know,
be articulate working at Google headquarters.
Yeah, totally. And then sometimes I feel like when I'm at the corporate office, it gets like a little like heady, like they want to know all the answers and know how it's supposed to feel. So that, and the other side of it, it's fun to like come in sometimes and just be like, listen to the music, do whatever, like kind of have that like free flow aspect too, because it can get a little like tech office,
Right.
Yeah.
So this is a very like broad question, but I feel like it'll be a good way to button the conversation. Why are you passionate about movement in general?
Oh man.
I know it's a big question.
Okay, let's see. I am passionate about movement because I think my passion for movement has always been like my first love and my first like something that I've always embodied. I think it comes naturally to me, like that like sense of like body awareness, And so I think I think it comes naturally because I started movement, ballet, and dance at such a young age that it's kind of all I ever knew. So I think that plays a big role into it. But I think I'm just really passionate because it's never ending. There's never an end goal in any type of movement, either when it's even running or walking. But there's always more, and there's always more to explore. And also I think I'm passionate about it is because I think it's important that people always find movement within themselves. It can be any type of movement. I just think like in existing, we have to like find some type of like movement that we feel comfortable doing. And yeah, I just feel like I could not live without finding any movement. And then again, it circles back to like the movement when I'm at the corporate offices is like, there's like, when you work in such a huge corporation and you're working all these crazy hours and you practically live at Google, there's like if you think about it, there's only 2 movements they do all day. And so like even just adding in like these tiny little like neck rolls can like change someone's perspective, change their body, change their mind, change their whole like look and within that movement, within that little small movement. I think that's so cool. And I was like, want to do that forever.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well,
Okay.
this was so great. And I'm so
Yes.
excited for all of our members to hear from you. I try to do as much yoga at the club as I can.
Yes. Good.
But hearing from you about yoga will be much more exciting for them.
Oh, yeah.
So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for doing this interview. And don't forget to wash your hands.
Don't forget to wash your hands. Thank you, guys.
Namaste.
Have a great day. Namaste.